see if this is working. Past broadcast, 2 seconds. That would be concerning. Oh boy. I gotta refresh. Hold on. Hello, hello, hello. It's muted. Hello, hello, hello. Alright. It's muted. That could have been very bad, but I do think that it is working. I can say this now because it is a timely reference, and the moment that I'm saying it is immediately after. But there will be a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. But I don't think you're here for that. I think you're here to know what the hell happened on Ring of Honor, on Honor Club, episode 121. Now, I have not always timed these episodes of ROH on Honor Club, and it wouldn't be that difficult to like go back. It would just be time consuming because I would have to go through 120 episodes. But this might have been the record for the shortest episode at 39 minutes. Now, all the 4 out of the 5 matches were very much squash matches. One of them was kind of back and forth, but 3 out of the 5 matches were just very one-sided. I'm not gonna necessarily say I'll give them a pass, but I think the main reason for that is they just spent 2 weeks filming back-to-back 4-hour blocks straight. So taping Ring of Honor content in between that, I can understand, is a bit of a hassle and time-consuming. So I understand it from that perspective, but also they just did almost 3-hour show yesterday, and we're supposed to have a special episode of ROH, a special ROH event in Global Wars Mexico. Now, I wish that they could go ahead and get that done with, but they didn't even say the date that will be uploaded. It just said next week. So, by this time next Thursday, ROH Global Wars Mexico should be uploaded, and I shall review it. If I was to guess, I would imagine that they upload it Monday, because last time that they did a Grand Slam and then a Global Wars event afterwards, they uploaded it on Monday. But don't really know. Time will tell with that. So, like I said, we just had back-to-back 4-hour Dynamite/collisions from them. So I can understand the taping schedule being a bit hectic. Now, this I will not give a pass on. They effing delayed Supercard of Honor 2 months. It was supposed to be back in May, got pushed to July. Nothing for that event. And we are 20-ish days away from it. I have an inkling, and if I had to guess that they would do, I would have guessed they'd do Athena and Thunder Rosa on this event. There's been some teases on Dynamite with Bandito and Takeshita, and if that is the main event of Supercard of Honor for the Ring of Honor World Championship, I will apologize. I will give them credit, because that is a match I would love to see. But time will tell with that. That being said, I said, hey, you're delaying this event. You have time to build this event up. Do it. And they said, no, fuck you. How about that? And I will admit that is extremely disappointing. Also, it gave them enough time to put this women's pure tournament together, and it's still being pushed off. And there's still not a start date for that. And I'm very much losing interest and care in that tournament that, to be honest, I didn't have high hopes for to begin with. I'll at least give them credit. It seems that a lot of the talent that is involved in it, like Serena Deeb, like Trisha Dore, like Queen Aminata, and especially Deonna Purrazzo, like, they seem interested in competing in it and getting the chance at a championship. So kudos to them for that. But they've had enough time to adequately build up Supercard of Honor and this women's pure title tournament and just Ring of Honor in general, and they just don't effing care. And I don't think that I have said this yet, and this is another big part for Supercard of Honor, and I imagine it will change, but even that I don't think is guaranteed. The only way you could, like, access and go to Supercard of Honor is if you have all-in tickets and it's like was bought in a bundle. Like I said, maybe they change that up. Who effing knows? But I actually think that's pretty bullcrap. If people want to buy individual tickets for, like, it's not in that big of a venue. It's at the place that the Esports Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Which I had to say that for like a month straight last year. But that's just me ranting. I'm very tired, and I could have made this an extremely short Ring of Honor review, but half of it's going to be me ranting. It's just shit that I wanted to get off my chest, if you just want me to be honest with. And I'm sorry that half of this review was me ranting, but again, it's just stuff that is at least relevant and Ring of Honor related. But if you want to know what happened on this episode of ROH on Honor Club, I will tell you now. Again, I imagine this episode was a bit shorter because we have Global Wars Mexico this week. That's understandable. After Global Wars Mexico, I want just banger, banger, banger. Let's build up Supercard of Honor. That's very much what I want to see for them, and not wait until the week of to just announce everything, because I think that would be disappointing and difficult for me to do a preview edition of that. But our opening contest is Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty versus Anthony Gargone and Sal Machita, who are two guys that, if you've ever played the Impact video game, and how you could really say any wrestling video game, not really Fight Forever, but the main one that stuck out to me is the Impact video game, because there's a lot, if you play the career mode in it especially, there's a lot of like created wrestlers that looked random as hell. And if you want me to be honest, that's what these two guys looked like. But Moriarty and Anthony start this match off with Moriarty landing an immediate kick to Anthony's face. Shane and Sal soon tag in with Taylor tossing him around the ring. And then he delivers a big right hand to him while Moriarty comes back in to deliver the Border City stretch. And the two members of Shane Taylor Promotions win the match. And this is going to be a small... You know what? If I have a problem with like something, I'm going to complain about it. Now, granted, I don't really think I have a problem with any of this. But I don't like this group being called Shane Taylor Promotions. And Shane Taylor's not a champion. And not... I can understand saying he's the leader. But Moriarty's been pure champion for almost a year now. And a little bit higher on the pecking order. I don't really understand. It's kind of like the Don Callis family. But Don Callis doesn't really compete. But you kind of understand what I'm saying. Like, if you're not the highest in like the pecking order, I don't really know how the group could be named after you. That's just a small complaint. But it's been like that for 2-ish plus years. So not really going to change it now. So that's anytime, if you've realized, if Shane Taylor is teaming with Lee Moriarty, I never say Shane Taylor Promotions. I always say Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. If it's the full group, then I say Shane Taylor Promotions because it is the group. And also, another weird tidbit. The other two members of Shane Taylor Promotions, the Infrantry, compete in the main event tonight. I don't understand why there'd be an aim tag and not with their group, but it's something I can't change. It has already happened. We get a pure rules match with Deonna Purrazzo versus Marty Bell. Lots of taunting by Deonna early on. It spills to the outside with both exchanging chops until Bell is thrown into the ring steps. And then back of the ring, Bell's shoulder is targeted by Deonna, and she wins after applying a Fujiwara armbar. I will admit, definitely sad that the judges for this match were not announced, but I guess it's something they forgot. B, more impressively, no rope breaks were used by either competitor. So there was that. The Frat House are backstage, and they accept the Dark Order's Trios challenge that was issued last week with Preston Vance and Jack Jameson running down John Silver because they do not like him, and Vance even mentioned that he is very annoying. Quick matchup up next, Aaron Solo versus Lance Archer. We're getting an immediate start when both men enter the ring, with Archer dominating and winning with a blackout quickly. Now, again, this match was so quick, and once I saw Archer like have him up for the black, I'm like, that's really it. That's what really it. So it was a very blink and you miss it match. But it's also weird because like Solo's like under contract. Normally when we get a matchup like that, you know, it's not as one-sided. So it was a bit shocking there. Next, Maya Yameshita versus Brooke Havoc. Now, this, I mentioned earlier that we had a bunch of squash matches. This is the one that was kind of back and forth. So I won't necessarily say that this was a squash match, and I actually did enjoy this match. It was back and forth, with Havoc landing a drop kick and then taunting afterwards, and Maya did not like that whatsoever and followed up with lots and lots of kicks. Havoc is able to land a singular kick, and then Maya applies a lot more and wins the matchup with a spinning heel kick. So there was that. As now we do get to that 8-man tag main event that I was mentioning, and will more than likely be in the title of the video. The Grizzled Young Veterans and the Infantry versus the Kingdom in Top Flight. There is no code of honor because once all 8 men are in the ring, they all start to brawl with one another. Drake and Darius are the first 2 legal competitors, with Taven tagging in soon after and being trapped in his opponent's corner, mainly with the Grizzled Young Veterans double teaming on him and the Infantry attacking him when the referee's back is turned. This all changes once Bennett comes into the ring and he's coming to save his partner. Just kudos to him, and delivers chops to all of his opponents. Then the Infantry land boot camp on Dante, with Darius breaking up the pin before the count of 3, and Darius is able to land a fisherman's suplex on Dean, and Dante follows this up with a sky high, so the team of the Kingdom in Top Flight pick up the victory. And I'll give them credit. This was a instance where they were matching colors. All of them were wearing purple, which I imagine was done on purpose, but IDK. So, Ring of Honor related news. While we got some free time and things that I'm thinking of. That was it for episode 121. I kind of mentioned, bit of a disappointing episode, nothing burger. Maybe if I combine it and like this going into Global Wars Mexico, maybe I could look at it more positively. But if y'all just want me to be honest with you, I probably won't look at it that way. But again, time will tell there. I mentioned everything. Like, I want them to seriously build up Super Court of Honor, and I'm hoping that they do so with that. If I was also to guess and think, because again, once these episodes are going on, I'm trying to think of Super Court of Honor and think of Ring of Honor in general and what the hell. I could imagine that a lot of Super Court of Honor is the Women's Pure Tournament, the first round, because Death Before Dishonor is literally the month, not the month after. It's in early September, I believe. They're doing Death Before Dishonor. So I don't think they have enough time to do the full tournament from next week's episode all the way to Super Court of Honor. It's also weird as hell because it was supposed to be Death Before Dishonor, and then that got changed, etc. Y'all, I'm going to keep rambling, so I'm going to go ahead and stop. I am a bit tired. When I get tired, I just start rambling to somewhat keep myself awake. So I'm done rambling. Maybe I can go to sleep after this. Who knows? So I do appreciate y'all for watching this. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all when I see y'all, because I'm out for now.